one of my favorite parts of my stories is how I grew up, which was I'm an Army brat. I was adopted when I was 9 months old. My dad was teaching at West Point at the time. And so I grew up moving all the time. We actually moved 27 times in 32 years.
Oh my gosh.
Then I ended up in the retail industry, and I was, for 18 years, I worked my way from sales into management and eventually a district manager. Again, not something that was in the front of my mind when I decided to organize, but I spent 18 years organizing stores. You know, changing the clothing around and where the tables were laid out and the mannequins in the windows, and a lot of coaching and teaching my staff. And then went into the mortgage business. So exit.
Very different.
But paper organization.
Oh, that's true.
Right? Financial organization. So everything that I've done has had some sort of organizing involved in it. In 2022, I decided to step back from the mortgage business after 22 years in the industry. So I'm a self-proclaimed recovering mortgage advisor, and I have not looked back. But at the time, I had no idea what I was going to do, Debbie. I was lost. As the universe does, it was listening to my cry for direction. And in my email popped an invitation to a workshop with a coach I'd worked with in the past. It was just absolutely beautiful and perfect timing. So I went there and had conversations with some women, bounced around some ideas. Aside from that, talked to some friends and family, and just landed in some sort of like organizing business with no idea what it was going to look like. That's kind of the progression of how I ended up a professional organizer. What I loved was the transformation in the human. The physical transformation is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think facilitates a person to be able to transform in other areas of their life. But I found so much joy in seeing the person sit up taller, feel pride in themselves, be proud of what they've accomplished. So I'm now a certified life coach who also focuses on physical home organization. There's so much mental stuff that's going on inside of us and that's affected by how our physical space is. Like the physical space affects everything, the environmental, the spiritual, the relationships, everything is affected by the physical space. I've got another gentleman I'm working with, and we're doing 4 hours, 4 days a month, 4 hours a shift, and he's preparing to sell his house next year. And we'll probably work right on through that because we're doing every room. And his case was really interesting. It was a little bit traumatic. So he's kind of my ideal client. He went through a divorce just before COVID, super close to COVID. So went through that traumatic experience. The spouse moved out and took what they wanted and left behind like half a house of household belongings. For example, like a buffet. All the stuff was taken out and put on the floor, but the buffet was gone.
Oh gosh.
So it was kind of like a time capsule because the shutdown happened about a month or two later, and it was untouched for several years. And he became depressed. His eating habits changed, started shopping for entertainment. He had no social life. None of us did. I mean, especially if you live alone. But something just clicked in him. He was by himself in his home looking around and just said, I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this. I want to sell my house next year. I want to retire. I want to downsize. Somebody help me. And he asked for help. And his friend, actually, it was a friend of his that I know through another networking group, introduced him to me. And his attitude has been delightful. You know, at first there's this little bit of embarrassment. You know, they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Please, I don't expect it to be perfect."
I would be that way if someone came into my house.
Right, but if you've called an organizer to come and help you, clearly we expect you to need us. But he's just been so fun to work with, and he's a kind of a good example of the original question you had asked about just timing wise. At first, it was harder for him to make decisions. He even said when I came back for the second time, he said I had a little bit of release regret because he had let go of quite a few pieces of very nice clothing.
That's very hard, yeah. Yeah.
So, but then he said, but then I got over it. So little by little, at first it was nothing would be done between sessions. I think we're on session 7 or 8 now. This morning I got an email from him, or a text from him. It was a picture of his kitchen, and the whole entire counter was immaculate. There was nothing on it, just better than when I left last week, because there was still some stuff to do when I left. So he did all his homework and some. And he sent me this picture going, I love having my kitchen counter back. Right? So I get to see him just be joyful and prideful. And I always tell him that the best day of this whole project will be the day you don't need me anymore. One of the things about helping someone, I use the word purge, downsize, but purge their wardrobe, is the things that they're hanging on to that they shouldn't be hanging on to anymore. And often that's a smaller size, or 2 or 3 sizes smaller. Yeah. Just because, someday I want to be a size 6 again, or even the bigger clothes, because, I used to be a 12 or a 14, and, what if I get there again? I don't want to buy new clothes. So I do, it's not something I'm specially trained in, but just asking the right questions and saying, one of my favorite things is, so if you do get down to a 6 again, wouldn't you love to just go out and buy new clothes?
And the styles change. Exactly.
And chances are that's not going to be in style anymore. Right. Another question that works really well with people, and the questions are not to trick people, it's because they're true.
Right.
But someone will say, I absolutely love this. I hate to let it go because someday I might wear it again or use it again if it's an object. But I love to say, I know how much this means to you. Would you rather see someone gifted this item today who could actually use it and enjoy it, versus having it just hanging here or sitting here unused in your hopes that one day you might use it again? Most of our jobs, what I try to do is recycle, repurpose, and rehome as much as I can to keep things out of landfill. Yeah. So the last resort is, what do we have left? I'm very proud to say the job I've been working on since last November, a few days a month, I've made 1 pickup truck load to the dump.
Really?
Yes, and we have cleared a ton of stuff, but I spend my time rehoming it very methodically into the community.
So do you take that from them and then you just do with it? But
it depends on the case and the client and what they're willing to spend. So if budget is an issue, then the least expensive is for me to go just Goodwill runs on my way home. Yeah. Okay. Or wherever else we want to drop it off. I don't necessarily pick Goodwill, but for me it's convenient. Some people are particular about where things go. Okay. A lot of it does come home with me though, so I try to book in time depending on the job. So some of it will be repurposed within the house. The stuff that needs to be rehomed, I can take pictures and post it as available for pickup, or I can bring little things home with me and then disperse them from my home. It's funny because I live in Pacifica, California, and I'm getting to know a lot of my neighbors very well through all this rehoming of stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And we've started chuckling that they're all my future clients.
That's great. That's really
I suppose, but it does kind of make me go, Walking through the door is the thing. It's like, in the perfect world full of unlimited possibilities, when you open your door to your house and walk in, how would you like to feel? Yeah. Right? I mean, it gives me goosebumps just to think about it.
It makes you relax.
It encourages us to live a healthier lifestyle.
Yep.
Exercise more, eat better. It will massively improve our relationships with our spouses, our children, even ourselves. And that's one of the really important ones, is how we feel about ourselves. So my business name is There's No Space Like Home. So my website and my Facebook page are both just that, www.there'snospacelikeHome. You can also find me on Instagram, and that is just No Space Like Home. When it comes to getting organized, you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step.
I love that.
Yeah, it really resonated.
Really cool. Really, I really
I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you.